Hello, everyone. My name is JJ Boehm, and I'm with University Communications for Saginaw Valley State University. And I'm being joined by Professor of Chemistry and Chair of the Chemistry Department at SVSU, Tami Sivy. Tami, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for talking to me, JJ.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about one of the projects that you're going to be helping on SVSU's behalf and really on our community's behalf when it comes to some testing for COVID-19 to try to protect our communities. Explain to people what SVSU is going to be doing and what you and your team are going to be working with to try to protect our communities.
Sure. So it's known that the virus is excreted in human waste. And so we're collecting human wastewater samples from various wastewater treatment plants in the Saginaw Bay watershed. We've had good relationships with them before, and so they're contributing samples to this. And so we are extracting the genomic RNA that would come from the virus from those sewage samples, and we are using some of the methods that we already are pretty good at in the lab in order to determine the level of infection or the level of virus that's in that wastewater.
What can we learn from wastewater?
So because the virus is excreted in human waste, and we all know that's one thing, even though we're at home, everyone's still using the bathroom, as, shown by the recent shortage of toilet paper. But so because the virus is excreted in that way, that means that its genetic material, and this is an RNA virus, which means its RNA, will be found in human waste. So it's a great way to test for the spread of the virus. So if we can detect it in wastewater, even if there's not many people testing positive in a region, we can see better what the levels are, and we can potentially detect hotspots and spread before it's even being detected by symptoms in the humans.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was in Massachusetts, they've already been able to show that, again, they were able to identify it in the wastewater stream before it was showing up in the actual test results.
Exactly. That's exactly the case. So part of the reason why this is so important is because of that early detection. It can be an early sign of spread, and especially now as things are hopefully going to start opening up soon and cities are going to be open, it's a good way to see if there is an increase in the amount of infection in people, because it can detect viral RNA from both symptomatic and asymptomatic people. So we can get that early detection, and we can also get a better readout or a determination of the number of infected people, because of course most asymptomatic people are not getting tested.
So how was SVSU chosen for this project? Because as you said, we're going to be working on it in the Saginaw Bay watershed, and then also who are some of the partners that we're going to be working with?
Yeah, so we're working really closely with MSU, Dr. Joan Rose's lab there. She's been working on viruses in freshwater and wastewater for quite some time, along with her graduate student, Matt Flood, and a few of her former postdocs. And we've been working with them and Eagle and the EPA for several years now to do microbial testing in freshwater. So we've developed some pretty amazing cutting-edge techniques to do that. And we have one of only 3 digital drop PCR instruments. I know you probably don't know what that means, but it's pretty new technology. Only 2 of them in the state are being used in order to do this genetic material detection and quantification. So we've been using that the past year. It was given to us with funding from the Office of Great Lakes in order to determine the sources of fecal contamination at our beaches. So we are doing some adaptation of those methods in order to be able to detect SARS-CoV-2 viral RNA in wastewater.
And you mentioned, obviously, the name of this virus. This is something about which people are understandably concerned. We see it in the news, people are getting infected. What are we doing to make sure that the campus community is safe when you're doing this testing?
Yeah, so it's been difficult, if not impossible, for microbiologists to culture the virus from human feces, which means it's most likely being killed when it is traveling through the human digestive tract. So the students and I will be handling these samples, as well as, the lab environment into which they will be taken. There should be no live virus there. And when we extract the RNA, so when we have the genomic material, then definitely there's no chance of infection, because the genomic material can't infect us in any way. So we will, of course, be taking extra precautions to make sure that any handling of the wastewater samples is done in a good way in order to prevent any sort of viral infection, just in case there's some active virus in those samples. So they'll be wearing masks and gloves. We always wear gloves, and goggles and lab coats. And then we'll only be working with the wastewater samples in a special biosafety hood.
So I know you're taking a lot of precautions. In some ways, it seems to me this is almost an extension of what you've already been doing with the water quality testing for public beaches, because that has some stuff that can make us sick. The symptoms may not be as bad as COVID-19, but again, you guys have already been very familiar with taking those safeguards.
Right. Yeah, we're going to do a few more special precautions in this case, because we're going to be working with sewage that's probably a little more raw than the fresh water that we work with normally. And then we do have to make a few adaptations to our methods. That is, we're using markers that are specific to this coronavirus. Additionally, because we're extracting genomic RNA rather than the DNA that we extract from our freshwater samples, we have to add in an additional step. It's called reverse transcription, where the RNA is converted into DNA so that we can amplify it and quantify it to determine the levels of the virus. So we're adapting our methods. We're honing up on our safety techniques in order to make this hopefully a valid study.
And what are some of the other ways that SVSU, and specifically our Saginaw Bay Environmental Science Institute, are really working to protect the public health of our communities?
Right. So a lot of the work that we do is, like I said, based in testing for fecal contamination in freshwater sources, so our beaches and rivers, and then trying to determine what the source of that is. That is, does that come from human? Does it come from cow? Does it come from seagull? We're finding a lot of that. And then additionally, there's a lot of other people who are working on various projects in the Saginaw Bay Environmental Science Institute, where they're measuring nutrient loads, because that can impact algal blooms, and in general, the health of our waterways. There's people working on Phragmites, that invasive species that's really popping up everywhere, and determining ways to potentially get rid of the Phragmites or repurpose the Phragmites, use it for some other purpose. There's just monitoring the spread of other invasive species like quagga mussels, using genetic markers. So there's all really exciting stuff happening in the Environmental Science Institute at SVSU. And what's cool is that we live in this region and we work in this region. So there's no other university in this region that's able to do this kind of work. And so we're excited to be a part of it.
You mentioned earlier, that some of the precautions you and students are going to be taking. What are the research opportunities that students will gain, specifically from this project to help with the wastewater testing for COVID-19? But in general, what did they get from this research experience, and how does that help them for their future careers?
My research students from the past who have done this genetic testing, this is really, really cutting edge stuff, and it's developing day by day. So I've been so excited for them to be able to learn these methods and to apply them. I think it's helped with their development as critical thinkers, logical reasoning, all of those things that we hope to do in education. But it's also given them practical experience. that can be used in other applications also. It's not just for freshwater testing or sewage testing. It can be used for a variety of other applications too. So my students have gone on to do amazing things in graduate school and beyond, those who have worked on this project, because not many undergraduates have the opportunity at universities to work in projects such as these. So I'm really happy to give them this opportunity. So they'll be doing, they're out there right at this very minute collecting samples from a few wastewater treatment plants. And then we're gonna start doing the extraction and the amplification hopefully in the next few weeks in order to get some answers, or start to get some answers. It's gonna be a pretty big story, so.
Yeah, and obviously, again, a very important additional method to be able to, again, help public health authorities identify those hotspots and perhaps start to respond before those test results are showing up in other ways.
Right. Yeah, and as we're adapting it to this viral testing, then it could be something that could be, adapted again, the same methods in order to test for other things in wastewater or freshwater as needed. So the more applications we use these methods in and our specialized instrumentation, the more applications I think we're going to see for its use.
You mentioned earlier some of the partners that SVSU is working with on this project. Obviously, we've been working with the US EPA on some of the rapid testing you and others have been a part of. It really seems like increasingly SVSU, our chemistry department, the Environmental Science Institute, other organizations, other entities are really reaching out to SVSU for our expertise.
Yeah, it kind of it flusters me to think that, but I think that that's the case. We were chosen partly because of how far along we were in the understanding and the application of the rapid DNA testing and the source tracking methods, because we started them before other universities and health departments did. And MSU in development of the methods has been extremely helpful in sharing those methods with us, because they of course are, with their Water Institute, are at the forefront of all of these things. So we adapted them pretty early, and because of that, we've been able to kind of stay ahead of the curve. And I think because of the unique characteristics of the Saginaw Bay watershed, that's another reason why we've kind of been targeted as a university that can do this testing.
I know you're a native Michigander. You talk about the Saginaw Bay watershed. I mean, you live on a tributary that's feeding right into the Saginaw Bay watershed. So I know that this is something that's personal to you.
Right.
How important, or I guess help people understand, how personal it is to you to try to be protecting public health and potentially saving lives by identifying a hotspot perhaps before it shows up in other ways.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's really important that with all the misunderstandings and non-understandings of the spread of this virus, that we have ways that we can detect it before humans are getting sick. So it's going to be really important as cities and non-cities are opened up, that we are able to detect whether there is going to be some sort of second wave of the virus, so that can be dealt with by health officials earlier rather than later. And as far as the freshwater testing goes, I'm just really excited to be a part of it because it's really important for our region. And it's important for the economy of our region and for the recreation of our region, which is of course tied into the economy. So I am very happy to support these efforts and to lead some of these efforts, and also to have my students involved in it and then have them go out as kind of ambassadors of SVSU. I think it's just been it's been a lot of work. In the past couple of weeks, I've been kind of crazy trying to get all this stuff set up and running. But with help from our partners, MSU Eagle, Dave Karpovich, the director of the ESI, contacted some wastewater treatment plants for me to help me get some of them on board. So just with a lot of help, Bruce Hart in the chemistry department is always good for helping me get the orders in and putting the funds where they need to go. So this is something that's been a full-on hard work, but everybody in project. So we're really, really excited to be a part of it.
Well, on behalf of me and my family and everybody else who lives in this region, thank you for your work on this, because again, anything that you said can be used to help understanding, but again, it's kind of a way that we might not be thinking about in terms of identifying potential hotspots.
Right.
But it is
Yeah.
one way that we can do this, and SVSU can help. So again, on behalf of just again myself as a human being and as a parent, to know that we're doing this, even if it's not the first way I might have thought of, I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're excited.
All right. Well, Tami Sivy, professor of chemistry at SVSU. Good luck to you, your students, your colleagues who are working on this.
Great. Thanks, JJ.